Good evening. I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News. And it's not Tuesday, now it's Tuesday, Sunday. Wait, Newsday, Sunday. Because I won't be able to stream this Tuesday. I'm gonna be traveling because of Christmas and gonna be going on a streaming hiatus for a few weeks. Not sure exactly for how long, but I guess I will still try to keep up with at least golden news in some form. Like even if I'm not able to stream, I will try to um, upload just non-live versions of golden news onto YouTube and Rumble or something, or maybe I will find an occasion to stream, and but I still don't know like how how well the internet or how fast the internet will be in the Finnish countryside where I will be staying. So how well it's possible that I wouldn't even be able to stream even if I had all the time in the world there. But we'll see about that. I'll worry about that then. But now is so. This Tuesday there won't be a stream. Hey, Agent Double Hurt, so early. Good evening. A time of day of your preference. Exactly. I'm time fluid, so and I don't judge. But let's get to the first story because I think my streams are all functional. So, Epstein files redacted. So, the Epstein files have been released because they were supposed to be released last Friday, like legally speaking, and they were, but it seems most of them are very heavily redacted, which is, of course, not ideal. So, let's go have a look. No, what did I press? This one, that one. All right. So okay, releases the Epstein files all redacted. Holy shit, you had one job. The corruption on both sides of is fucking crazy. At this point, everyone in a position of power must be in it for this level of cover up. Yeah, it's nice, like chibi reviews. He's a guy who talks about anime and I guess occasionally games or something. And he does whine about censorship and stuff, but he doesn't usually talk about pedophile scandals in politics and stuff, as far as I've seen. But even he is pointing out how that everybody in position of power is in on it. So both parties had a chance over the years to release it, but decided against it or redact it. If you don't see how this is a problem, you're lost. Redacting this is only protecting the criminals, and our government under multiple administrations has never given us an unredacted version. Our government is a fucking joke to allow this. So yeah. Yeah, just looking at these pictures is like, I don't know, maybe there's like 20-30% of the text that is actually legible. And of course, this is just a small sample of all the files. But let's see what other fun stuff we find. So okay, before we head back, I'll be right back. Have to close the door because the wind was causing it to bang. So yeah, before, like a day before the files were released, quote unquote. The news were that Dan Bongino might be quitting the FBI, and he did. So I will be leaving, or okay, he will be leaving in January. So he's gonna leave the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, Director Patel for our opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. Well, not thanks for trying that. I don't know if I hope this is a sarcastic comment. It sounds like it to me. But yeah, I don't think this guy defended America much. like okay, like his resignation just day before the redacted files come out. I guess it does sort of I get the impression that maybe he wasn't happy with the way, like, perhaps I don't know, like, didn't know a great deal about Dan Bongino before he became the FBI deputy director, whatever his title was. um, but like, maybe he actually wanted to release the Epstein files, but then he, learned some information not privy to him before, and then it's like, oh damn, we cannot do it. Like, maybe the Epstein files, maybe the, it's not the fact that every major politician is corrupt and has some really nasty blackmail material on them. Maybe that's not the real reason these files cannot be unredacted, but maybe the Epstein files would leak information about the psychic hamster people that live underground, and if the psychic hamster people, like, if they become public knowledge, then they will just melt all of our brains. So that's why he had to cover it up. That's my theory. So be formal federal agent, build podcast brand talking about politics and fails and how you'd run it better given the chance, get given the chance, do nothing, resign and go back to complaining on your podcast. Shameless. No, it sounds like he's gonna, it's a good business strategy. Like, I think people are still gonna listen to him. So Mark R11 says, Dan Bongino, you did a great job, my friend. Look forward to having you back in on the air battle for our country. So yeah, Kyle Seraphin here says, this should tell you all you need to know. Exactly. If this guy is saying that Dan Bongino did a great job, he didn't do a great job. President Trump on Dan Bongino. Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. So A, mission accomplished. B, Dan couldn't take it anymore. See insert answer. Maybe it's a bit of both. Let's increase the volume.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
I just, yeah. I think he wants to go back to his show. It sounds like very much like an excuse. Like, I don't know whether it means that Trump fired him actually, but they're just doing it this way to save face, or maybe he quit because he cannot take it, either because it's too difficult or because he's actually has some sense of decency and he didn't like what he had to do. I don't know. There is total Epstein posts from MAGA influencers today. So Gunther Eagleman 1 and these other people 0. Yeah. Hmm. According to this guy, at least. I don't know if they tweeted after this guy, but it's, I guess, like, just to remind you that a lot of these people are fake, and presumably a lot of people not mentioned here as well. Okay, let's get back to the redacted files. The DOJ just released the Epstein files and is a complete farce. The entire 119-page grand jury document is fully redacted, not a word visible. On top of that, court filings are literally missing pages. Files jump from 11 to 30 in .pdf as if evidence evaporated. This isn't transparency, it's a cover-up in plain sight. Yeah. So, I'm just asking the question, like, are Americans gonna water the tree of liberty, or something like that? Or what are they gonna do about stuff like this? When you try to search for Donald Trump's name in the Epstein file release, it says results not found. Of course, there's a community note here saying that the search function has reportedly been malfunctioning for the majority of users. The search term Trump is not the only one showing no results. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that Trump isn't in the files. For it's like, okay, he's probably not in the files. The little bit of text that we can actually read. Okay, this Epstein file drop is absolutely damning for Bill Clinton. He's littered all throughout it. Photos show him in Epstein's pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and a potential victim. Deeply disturbing. Yeah, so there's somebody here because the face is still redacted because supposedly they are victims whose faces, because there's also lots of photos. Although somewhere else I saw somebody claim that this is some hotel, that it's not Epstein on Epstein Island. It's I don't remember, like in some Middle Eastern country, I think, one of those fancy countries. Uh, Thomas Massey says he expects at least 20 Epstein clients to be named when the full Epstein files are released. Well, this is. Oh no, it is already 20, so it's after these redacted files were released. He says attorneys representing victims have confirmed the identities of men accused of trafficking children. Massey warns that if those names do not appear, it will signal that the full set of Epstein materials was never released. Okay, so I wonder who these 20 Epstein clients are that Epstein never trafficked to, because he never trafficked to anyone, even though he was, and Ghislaine Maxwell as well, they were, arrested for human trafficking. So consider these three attachments: Epstein Files Transparency Act, statement from Fox Digital, existing criminal statute. So let's see. Let's just read the yellow part. Prohibited grounds for withholding. No record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. Yeah. Okay, that seems clear enough. Fox News. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials. So, crimes and criminal procedure, blah, blah, blah. Obstruction of justice. Okay, whoever knowingly alters, destroys, mutilates, conceals, covers up, blah, 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 with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence the investigation or proper administration of any matter shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Okay, let's see if anybody's gonna get arrested or imprisoned for this. I doubt it, unless Thomas Massey gets arrested for pointing out inconvenient facts. And this is Archcast, Arch Warhammer, who's fairly lukewarm, like centrist usually, but he says we're all controlled by satanic pedophiles is a hard pill to swallow, but unless we're willing to visit my demon portal under Epstein Island theory, we just got to accept that fact and act in accordance. Yeah, it's quite red pilled way of putting it. Yeah, we are controlled by satanic pedophiles. It's very hard to deny at this point. And he's not American, he's Norwegian, I do believe. And but Norway is a NATO country and stuff, so. And it's possible that many Norwegians or Finns or Bulgarians or wherever also visited the island or had contact with Epstein or similar people. Like I don't think he was the Epstein as the only one who trafficked minors to important people. Okay, Massey responded to this one. A future DOJ could convict the current AG and others because the Epstein Files Transparency Act is not like a congressional subpoena which expires at the end of each Congress. Okay. Well, I guess it would be good to convict Pam Bondi. She probably deserves it. Why the hell are there baby massage training manuals in the Jeffrey Epstein files? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. Maybe I don't want to really know the details for this. This might be actually just a really innocuous reason for it. It's possible, but okay. This guy Reese Sullivan says made an Epstein file viewer because the government's website sucks. Hosted for free at this place. So seems cool. I haven't used it. I don't know if it actually works or if it's malware or anything, but at least in theory, it sounds good. You know things are bad when you're unironically retweeting AOC's as foundering. So what does AOC say? Now the coverage. So yeah, Epstein files. Yeah, the grand jury document entirely redacted. Now the cover up is out in the open. This is far from over. Everyone involved will have to answer for this. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, a whole admin. Protecting a bunch of rapists and pedophiles because they have money, power, and connections. Bondi should resign tonight. Well, I don't really care if she resigns. She should probably be in jail or something like that. So the DOJ has 300 gigabytes worth of Epstein files in their possession. They have only released 2.5 gigabytes, according to Rohana. So is this the under my umbrella? Umbrella is that her? Maybe she's changed gender, or maybe it's a different guy. Anyway, so 300 gigabytes. Like of course, perhaps those files contain video, and those some of those videos might actually show illicit acts with minors, which understandably they wouldn't release. But I do hope that the criminals depicted in those videos, if they do exist, they should be arrested or something like that. But yeah, they didn't release the Epstein files, it would seem. Just a small part, and even that was redacted. There's Hillary Clinton in a nice high priestess dress or something. This is right after Hillary sacrificed a child to Moloch, isn't it? Probably. Oh no, it wasn't Moloch, it was Klach. Was the Klingon god of being I don't know, politician. So an IDF sweatshirt was found in the closet of Jeffrey Epstein per the newly released Epstein file. So Israel Defense Forces. I have no idea how to read that. So remember when Jews said this was an AI 4 months ago? Was it only 4 months ago when this picture came out? Thought it was longer ago, but maybe. But yeah. So I wonder whether Epstein had any connections to Israel. Curious. Okay, Massey says that what we're all thinking. Epstein had close ties to Israel's intelligence agencies. That's where they're trying to stop this. Either that or it's the psychic hamsters underground. Uh, Approximately 90% of the released Epstein files are fully redacted. Yeah, what the fuck is the point then? Exactly. Like, okay, this is masseuses. So those are, I guess, could be categorized as victims. How about the people they massaged? Emerald Devil says the point of this release was the pictures of 3,900 pictures, but lots of them are redacted too. Uh, So absolute creep, U.S. Army, and here Talmud, 37 books right behind him on that shelf. I can't see the label, but I don't see community notes saying so. Uh, this guy says I have the Quran and I'm not Muslim. Well, yeah, but the difference is that Quran is just one book, right? And this is like 37 books. Like if this it is the whole Talmud, like okay, he's Jewish already, so it's not like a great revelation that he might have the Talmud for obvious reasons. Like normally, like usually, it means you're interested in it if you have like a book series that is 37 books. Massey says compared language of Epstein's files Transparency Act directing DOJ to provide internal communications regarding their decisions versus DOJ letter to Congress asserting privilege to omit materials related to decisions because they were specified by law. They are flaunting the law. Let's see the yellow stuff here. So make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the Department of Justice, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation and United States Attorney's Office that relate to internal DOJ communications, including emails, memos, meeting notes concerning decisions to charge, not charge, investigate, or decline to investigate Epstein and his associates. All communications, memoranda, directives, logs. Okay. So in addition to the basis for withholding or redacting under the Act, the Department has withheld and redacted a limited amount of information otherwise covered by various privileges, including deliberative process privilege, work product privilege, and attorney-client privilege. They are based in common law, blah, blah, blah. How's this? Skip here. Before any departure from the rule affirmed through the ages of the common law, a rule having its solid foundation in the best interest of society can be adjudged. The language declaring the legislative will should be so clear as to prevent doubt as to its intent and limits. Although the Act broadly categorizes items required to be produced, the Act does not include language expressly requiring the Department to produce privileged materials. What? Although the Act broadly categorizes items required to be produced, the Act does not include language expressly requiring the Department to produce privileged materials. What? Okay, I don't know. It's my mind is blowing. So we are supposed to really, reveal the materials or produce the privileged materials, but it doesn't say. I am just so what gobbledygook this is. Okay, now we get some memes. Okay, fine, I'll release the naughty list. Just gonna check it twice. Here you go. Naughty list, the Grinch, and redacted. Mm-hmm. There's no why the guys in size are victims here. Why protect their identities? What is the reasoning for this? Yeah. Or are they like, some businessmen or politicians and they were lured into Epstein Island under false pretenses and then he sodomized them or what? I'm being told this is a police lineup card, and fair enough if so, but there are many other instances of this that are absolutely aren't lineup cards. Okay. Uh, Thomas Massey and Reptilian Roe O'Connor have filed articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi. That's good. I hope she gets actually impeached. I starting to hope that that actually happened to Trump too. Okay, file 468, one of the few files that showed Trump is now missing. They deleted that one, which looks like the clearest sign yet of a cover-up. So yeah, here's a picture of Trump, at least here. I'm not sure who's this. And yeah, why is there a picture of the Pope? Was it John something? He was the Pope when I was like a kid and stuff. Died in the early 2000s. And then Ratzinger took over. So does it mean he was on the island, or like is this like from Epstein's office? Like he wasn't Catholic. So that's a bit weird. Like there might be a good reason for it, like for meme purposes or whatever. So yeah, now is 468 is missing. Yeah. So why? Just because there's a picture of Donald Trump, like it doesn't implicate. We already know that they knew each other. That's not news to anybody who's paid any degree of attention. Big shout out to Bill Gates for making sure everyone on that island was fully vaccinated. Yeah, so of course, these faces are redacted, so they are presumably victims. And wait, is this Bill Gates or is it Woody Allen? Because he sort of looks like Woody Allen as well. Maybe they're the same guy actually. That's the one of the big secrets. So yeah, the DIJ said they will only blur out the faces of minors and our victims. Yeah. So of course, there's a standing together doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it probably means something. But why hasn't Bill Gates been arrested then? Like if these are victims, like some people said because he or his wife divorced him a few years ago, so I guess she probably found out something. Although I don't really expect her to be the pinnacle of morality either, but it's like maybe she saw Bill Gates as a sinking ship rather. Ukrainian passport seized at Epstein estate. Why is it 100% redacted and whose is it? So yeah, Ukraine and it's female. Okay, so then it's not Zelensky. Hmm. Then it's probably a victim, right? Because Ukrainian women have been popular in human trafficking affairs. Of course, it could be a Ukrainian politician or something as well. Or why not both a politician and a victim? DOJ says it has 300 gigabytes of Epstein files. Trade relays 2.5 gigabytes. They have said that, but that's only total of 0.83%. Yeah, that's a small amount. Like I said earlier, many of them could be video and stuff that takes more space, and maybe there's a good reason they can't release them, but at least they should explain it then. A little girl is heard asking Jeffrey Epstein, "Where are you taking us?" Let's listen. I don't know if it necessarily means it's a little girl like that. The voice, it might be a young woman as well, but yeah, it's a bit sus. Oh no! Winnie the Pooh is in Epstein files. China most affected. Mm. Uh, so this is stuff Fox News is covering while the White House is refusing to release the full Epstein file. So tug of war, two rats engaged in dramatic 3-minute battle over half a bagel in New York City subway station. Well, I just can't stand this anti-Semitism. How can you show this? Like you should have some decorum. Don't make Jews look bad, okay? It's worse than we thought, much worse. So there's this picture, and yeah, Baba. But I'm just wondering if there's another picture of Trump with the other Baba. Ghislaine Maxwell's horse, who also was named Baba. Trump, no. This is of course the famous scene from Home Alone 2, and this is Macaulay Culkin, the kid in the movie. So that's a joke. I don't think this is from the actual Epstein files. Tired of winning yet? No Epstein files. If the bullet hit him, of course, reference to the shooting last summer, or like last year's summer when Trump was supposedly shot in the ear. So 90% of redacted Epstein files. So yeah, we won. And God, diverted the bullet for this. Piglet, not you too. No. No. So, humanity, redacted states of America. I think this is very appropriate. Maybe America should change their flag to that. All right. But yeah, that okay. That's the last Epstein thingy. Let's go to other news then. Um, yeah, I'm just yeah, U.S. versus Venezuela. But I don't know if I have anything to add about that Epstein stuff. Like, well, it's like Arch said that we are ruled by satanic pedophiles and you should act accordingly. But okay, and now U.S. wants war with Venezuela. Oh yeah, and there was like just before, like a day before the Epstein reductions were released. I think like was it Tucker Carlson claimed that Trump was about to declare war with Venezuela, and some people say that he was just lying, and others say that he said it because I guess like sort of to stop because Trump couldn't do it because I guess the implication was that uh, Trump would have started the war to distract from the Epstein files, but now it was foiled by Tucker Carlson. At least some have claimed that. But anyways, let's see about this stuff. So the United States is preparing to take control of more sanctioned oil tankers carrying Venezuelan crude oil. When Trump says Venezuela stole oil from the United States, which he did claim, he's talking about projects by oil companies that were nationalized by the government of Venezuela 2 decades ago. No one campaigned on using our soldiers to overthrow Venezuela to make these oil companies whole again. So when Trump says Venezuela stole oil from the United States, what is he talking about? So Trump's talking about how back under Hugo Chavez in 2007, Venezuela nationalized a bunch of heavy oil projects in the Orinoco Belt and basically kicked out or forced out American companies like ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips without what they considered fair compensation. Okay. Some folks also point to the recent U.S. court-approved sale of Citgo, Venezuela's U.S. refinery arm, to help settle those old debts. Okay, so that's yeah. Who cares about big oil companies, really? So don't forget the real reason Trump is invading Venezuela. Venezuela cuts ties with Israel over Gaza attacks. Yeah, that's so this is from 2009. So Venezuela has been a bad guy for a while. And this is not related to Venezuela, but nuclear scientist MIT professor Nuno Loureiro, what the fuck's name is that, shot and killed at his home in Boston. So of course, it could be just some, break-in. He probably has a, fancy apartment, and there's some, drug drug dealer or drug addict got in, and then he was interrupted by this when he was burglaring this place, and then they shot this guy. That's theoretically could happen, or maybe I don't know. Maybe he had gambling debts and the mafia got him, or but when something like this happen, I guess the first like thought that comes to my mind at least is that there's something else going on, something a bit deeper, like he knew something, or or somebody, I don't know, tried to steal him. It's like reminds me of Shadowrun, because I've been playing the Shadowrun game, Dragonfall, streaming the game and stuff, and also watching like a podcast actual play of the actual tabletop role playing game, and that's podcast like Sinless from Critical Hits is pretty good. Anyways, at some point at least they used to acquire a lot of people from one company to another and stuff. So maybe something like that went on. Like, I don't know. Uh, so, well, this is not America related, but I didn't have better place for it. So, the Bondi Beach terrorists turned out to be Indian. Philippines says Sydney Bondi Beach shooters visited on Indian passports. Of course, they could be from some other country. Here it says, yes, they turned out to be Indian Muslims, not Hindus or Sikhs, not Buddhists, not Jains, Indian Muslims. Really, well, I can't read this. But, that who knows who, like, if you work in the intelligence um, field, I think you can get many different countries' passports. But yeah, okay, that's that. Let's go to other news then. So to EU farmer protests and bunch of other EU related news or Europe related news, not just EU. All right. So thousands of farmers gather outside the EU headquarters in Brussels in major stand against communism. Europe stands with the farmers. I hope that Europe stands with the farmers, but I don't know how many Europeans actually care about it. But yeah, they uh, cool. Farmers are based. But whenever I see an account like like this, like something West, I'm also like, okay, is it actually a European or American guy? Okay, it's from United Kingdom. Why does it? Okay, it's American flag and UK flag. It's like, but I wonder he could still be like Indian because whenever it's something, this kind of avatar, it's been like, is this guy Indian? And hey, I'm not saying it's inherently bad if an Indian actually cares about Western civilization and wants to protect it. That's fine by me, but it's still a bit like. Hmm. Anyways, and yes, this is France tonight. We are witnessing the beginning of the collapse of the EU globalist project. I hope so. I really do hope so. But I wonder if these people are a bit too optimistic, like saying that yeah, things are bad, and I guess it cannot, especially because they are giving more money to Ukraine. So I guess Europe cannot last for long the way it is currently. EU agrees to 90 billion euros loan to Ukraine for 2026, 2027, and yeah, loan. I don't think Ukraine will be paying it back anytime soon. And just to remind that nobody voted for her uh, to be doing this. I vote for her to be shoved into an oubliette with, I don't know, maybe no, not crocodiles. I want her to stay there. I want her to think about what she's done, but maybe some sort of things that make her stay a bit more unpleasant than it already would be. European Union access plans to ban internal combustion cars by 2035. So that's good. Like it access the plans, so they're not gonna ban them yet. ESSO. Does ESSO? Well, yeah, there's ESSO here in Hong Kong because that's from the ExxonMobil. Because when I was a kid, there was a ESSO station in my hometown, or I guess hometown you can call it. But there's no more Esso in Finland. And Esso is a nice name and it's very easy for Finns to say. And back then I didn't even know it was a foreign company, but that's another story. Or Ursula von der Leyen, Jewish history is European history, Jewish culture is European culture, and Jewish life must be able to flourish for Europe to flourish fully. Yeah, I would disagree with some parts of that statement, but I do appreciate her being at least honest and highlighting where her loyalties and where her ideology lies, and people should act accordingly and remember that we are ruled by satanic pedophiles, and some of these satanic pedophiles have a very specific type of Satanism that they follow. Loner is jailed for 18 months for 2 anti-immigration tweets that made after Christmas market card act that were viewed just 33 times. So Loner, is his name Loner, or is he called a loner because I don't know, he's alone in this picture. So here there's context added. He called for mass murder of migrants and MPs. Time to hit the streets and slaughter. Violence and murder is the only way now. Head for the hotels, housing them and burn them to the ground, and head to the MPs' houses and parliament. It's like chat says everyone keeps calling her that, but she's actually pronounced lying, not lying. Well, she is lying a lot of the time, so I guess that's lying. So Wonder Ursula Wonder lying. She's lying Wonder. She's very good at lying. Okay, but is she that good at lying? Whatever. So yeah, it's okay. I guess I have to sympathize a little bit with the lawgivers that that it's a bit dumb to say stuff this directly. He should know that he's gonna get in trouble, but it's still like he certainly shouldn't go to jail for it. Like, I can understand like if his account gets banned or whatever, or maybe he has to take some community service, like some anger management. But it's like I do, understand his sentiment very well. But is like he could say that we will be heading towards murder and violence if nothing else is done, and that's so unfortunate. But that's what sort of like JFK said, like when a peaceful revolution becomes impossible, a violent revolution becomes inevitable, something like that. So but I guess this guy isn't, he's a loner, so he's not like a politician like JFK was. But still, I don't think he should go to jail. I wouldn't send him to jail. He seems like a decent guy, but a bit, foolish and saying that stuff out loud. Under UK legislation, anyone developing end-to-end encryption is now labeled as a hostile actor. So, since hostile activity does not require any knowledge or tasking by a foreign state, the phenomenon of double ignorance could arise. A person may be engaged in hostile activity if they do something which, unknown to them, threatens national security, which is in the interest of another state, also entirely in the dark. Okay, it continues. The developer of an app whose selling point is end-to-end encryption, which would make it more difficult for UK security and intelligence agencies to monitor communications. It's a reasonable assumption that this would be in the interest of a foreign state, even if though the foreign state has never contemplated this potential advantage. The lobbyist for a foreign firm who seeks to persuade an electronic chip manufacturer to build a factory in France. Rather, okay, we don't have the whole text. But I think even more disturbing is this: like, a person may be engaged in hostile activity if they do something which, unknown to them, threatens national security, which is in the interest of another state. Like, okay, let's say hypothetically that the British Prime Minister is not the current one, of course, but like a future hypothetical prime minister is like a pedophile who, I don't know, drinks children's blood or something, and then they hear about it and talk about it online, and that would, of course, threaten the national security of UK simply to discuss the matter, and then they become an enemy of the state, right? Or hostile actor, like saying factual things, or saying that the war that in Ukraine that UK has been promoting is not going well for the allies, and I guess that would also be against the national security and interest of the UK state. It would be in the interest of Russia, I guess, to say that the war is not going well. So it basically means anything that the state doesn't like, we are gonna be treated as a hostile actor. But I don't know what this means. Like, if somebody is considered a hostile actor, like, does the state have the rights to incarcerate them, or just take a spy on them, or what exactly? England 2025 police drag man. Okay, it's police drag. Yeah, the verb drag a man. It's not a police man who is in drag across the country over a tweet. I don't know now. Just imagining it, like a drag police. UK is supposed to be a very progressive country. I want to see police officers in drag. Otherwise, I'm gonna call them very conservative and bigoted country. Like, come on, UK, you should have at least like half of your policemen in drag when they're on duty. Anyway, you're taking me to Harrogate in the middle of the night over a tweet. Our hate crime team have reviewed it, and it said there are offenses there we need to explore. So, officers citing hate crime powers over online speech, cross country detention triggered by a social media post, no violence, no threat, words alone under investigation, a clear warning to anyone who speaks out. This is modern England, where policing priorities are warped and free expression is chilled by ideology-driven enforcement. When will this madness end? So I guess it's a different guy than this guy, the loner guy. As this Boris Johnson, I'm afraid Putin will be quietly pleased with the results of the European Council. He has effectively intimidated EU and the UK into dropping an excellent plan to fund Ukraine. The reparation loan would have liberated huge sums from Putin's frozen assets in a way that was morally and legally watertight, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, they wanted to steal Russia's assets in Europe, but I guess now they're not going to do it, and they just gave the loan, quote unquote, to Ukraine. And PaxTube here says the plan was rejected because no one is stupid enough to completely destroy global trust in the European economy just to dump money into the black hole of Ukraine for one more year. If you care so much, I invite you to liquidate all of your assets and hand the cash over to Zelensky. Yes, PaxTube is a YouTuber. He's pretty based, sort of like he's Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but he's now pretty decent videos. I haven't watched any of his stuff recently though. Okay. So updates to our terms of service and privacy policy. So and Grok list our major changes and if anything related to free speech. And Grok, why aren't you answering this? So must have missed it. How does that work? How does Grok miss something like this? So here's a summary of X's recent terms and privacy policy updates from December 2025. Governing law clarifies courts and timelines for disputes, especially in EU UK. Enforcement in places like EU UK, X may remove not just illegal content but also what's deemed harmful/unsafe under local laws. User content expanded responsibility for post prompts and AI outputs added anti-interference rules. Privacy added age assurance data collection and sharing. It sounds like a Xitter cut to EU and UK. That's not good. The enforcement change could impact free speech by enabling broader content removal in some regions. I thought like the US government were gonna do something about that. Supposedly they weren't happy that the European countries are censoring their online stuff, but I guess they don't care. So breaking flares in parliament, Albania's democracy collapses live on camera. What you're seeing is not a protest, this is not a political theater, it's a full institutional breakdown. Inside Albanian parliament, opposition MPs ignited flares, physically blocked proceedings and turned the chamber into chaos, openly declaring that normal democratic politics no longer exist in Albania. What is this really about? The explosion did not come out of nowhere. The right-wing Democratic Party accuses Prime Minister Edi Rama's government of capturing the state, weaponizing courts and prosecutors against opposition, banning opposition MPs from parliament, running elections under conditions the opposition calls unfair and manipulated. In short, the opposition claims Albania is no longer a functioning democracy, but a one-party system dressed up for Brussels. Why flares inside parliament? Because the opposition says every legal and parliamentary channel has been closed. Their message is brutal and symbolic. If you silence us, shut us out, and rule without accountability, then this parliament is already dead. Lighting flares inside the chamber was a declaration that the rules no longer matter because, according to the opposition, the government stopped respecting them long ago. The EU elephant in the room. Here's what makes this scandal internationally explosive. Albania is an EU candidate country regularly praised by Brussels as a success story of reforms and European integration. Yet, opposition MPs are suspended and or prosecuted, parliament turns into chaos, institutions are openly contested, political legitimacy is collapsing, and still Brussels largely looks the other way. Why? Well, wasn't Albania the country with their new AI minister? I wonder how maybe the AI minister can save democracy there. Because Rama's government is seen as reliable, compliant, and geopolitically convenient. Okay, Rama, I'm thinking of Rendezvous with Rama. It's like the Arthur C. Clarke, some sci-fi novel. I haven't read it, but I heard of it. Anyways, this raises an uncomfortable question. Is European democracy only enforced when the wrong people win elections? Yes, of course. A warning far beyond Albania. This is not just Albania's problem, this original warning. When opposition is crushed, politics radicalizes. When institutions stop working, confrontation replaces debate. When voters feel cheated, legitimacy collapses. Today it's flares in Tirana, tomorrow it could be something much worse. The real scandal, not that flares were lit. The real scandal is that people felt this way was the only way they to be heard. And the most dangerous part, the EU still calls this progress. So blah blah blah. All right. Yeah. So well, I think this is good. I want to see more of this sort of people displaying that they are unhappy with the situation in Europe, because it's already like Europeans should have done this like 20 years ago, before that the problem was too obvious. But alas, that's not the way things work nowadays. It's like like let's say at your workplace, people go smoke outside during their smoking break, and then there's cans of kerosene outside. It's like they just smoke next to the kerosene cans, and somebody said like, "Hey, shouldn't you stop smoking next to the kerosene cans?" It's like, they haven't exploded yet. And when they actually, when a cigarette actually lights a kerosene can, it's like, "Oh my God, what can we do to prevent the kerosene fires?" Like, well, how about we just, stopped it from becoming a big problem in the to begin with? But that's not how people act nowadays. Anyways, UK to encourage Apple and Google to put nudity blocking systems on phones. Why? And does it mean like full frontal nudity, or like somebody in a bikini? You cannot, like, you go to a beach with your family and take pictures of your, like, kid, or is it like actually like full frontal nudity, like people aren't able to watch porn, or or artistic nude pictures? It's like consenting adults and all that stuff. Like, it's not like, if society wants to ban porn, that's another story, but it's not the tech companies' duty to do so. X just updated the privacy policy stating it will adhere to EU and UK demands to remove content. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. I had the other post already talking about, maybe there's some more detail here, but I don't want to read that too gobbledygooglish. The UK is going full police state. Not only are they getting rid of jury trials, they plan to allow magistrates to sentence people for up to 2 years without appeal. Last 40% of appeals from MAG's courts were upheld. Labour wants to lock up innocent people. Well, they've been doing it for a while already, haven't they? Great Britain would be more free under Putin than it is under Starmer. Yeah, or Hitler, or probably even Stalin, or I don't know, Sulla or Caligula or Nero. And meanwhile, in the London underground, man on his way to work is going viral for casually reading Adolf Hitler's book Mein Kampf so brazen in public. Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't like, first of all, it doesn't mean that you necessarily agree with what the book says, but like at this point, oh, who cares if he agrees with it? Somebody said that this is, I think, like an
The
Albanian
latest.
translation, like this Lufta Ime, that maybe this guy is Albanian, not actually English or anything. Right now, in the parts, we have to start reloading these things. What's this? Creating apps like Signal or WhatsApp could be hostile activity, claims UK watchdog. So yeah, this is the same stuff about end-to-end encryption stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is old news, but I guess it's good to remind. So when do we deploy the new variant? This was an actual leaked message from, at the time, Health Secretary Matt Hancock during COVID. Yeah, I remember this stuff. All the people that said follow the science, well, this the science, then they literally made it up as they went along. So we frightened the pants off everyone with the new strain, but the complication with that Brexit is taking the top line. So yep, that's what will get people proper behavior change. When do we deploy the new variant? I've been thinking more about this and think we need more to be more cautious strain that is. I think you made the point earlier, but we need to keep schools off paperwork slash agenda. So, like already back then, I was like, what do they mean? They mean that they actually spread the new strain of the virus. I don't know whether the virus actually existed or not, but let's assume it did. Or does it mean that, deploying new variant that the virus doesn't exist and they just, deploy the new variant as a media weapon, basically, to scare people into compliance? Like, which one is it and which one is worse? You tell me. And why aren't these people in jail or in an oubliette? And meanwhile, in Germany, childless and jobless liberals have found a new hobby called hobby dogging, which includes walking and training an imaginary dog. People wonder why Europeans are going extinct. So surely this is like from some comedy show or something. Like, I can understand, like, if these people are friends and they're really bored and they suddenly like, hey, I have these, old dog collars because I had a dog who died 5 years ago. Let's go play around with them. And then they made these videos like, yeah, okay, sure. But if it's like an actual hobby that people start taking seriously, like, yeah, I don't know what to say if that's the case. Unfathomably based, what's this? Hanukkah, Polish president cancels Hanukkah celebrations at presidential palace. Oh my god, that's another show. Oh, god. Horrible, just horrible. Polish politician Gregor Brown tears down EU flag, wipes his shoes with it and burns it. That's based. I think if every politician in Europe, or at least let's say one third of politicians in Europe are like this guy, Europe would be, great again. Like, I don't know if this guy has actually done anything other than his stunts, but already his stunts are better than, whatever, harmful stuff other politicians are doing. Yeah, ugly flag. Don't like it. Soulless and evil when you get deeper into it. All right. Uh, but now we can go from Europe and I don't know. Yeah, I've been saying regime change in UK for a long time, and in most European countries, I think we need regime change. But Erica Kirk and Candice Owens stuff didn't know how to title this. This picture is very appropriate. We'll see it later. Uh, this whole thing is a complete theater, a big distraction. Ben Shapiro is smiling and rubbing his hands somewhere right now. So Candace Owens and Erica Kirk, they had a discussion in private. I still don't know all the details of what
Guys
they
this
talked.
evening, but I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm totally fine, and I'm sorry.
So some people were saying that Candace Owens missed, she got the call or she sold out after the private conversation. I don't know whether that is the case or not, or whether it's just people are a bit too cautious, which makes sense, or they're just shields trying to shit on Candace Owens any chance they get. I guess maybe it's a bit of all of the above. But yeah, she was quite energized after the meeting, but I don't know what that means. Okay, let's reload these in advance. Okay. So did you know that Erica Francois Kirk apparently used to date Cabot Phillips, editor of the Daily Wire, in 2017, just a year before she met Charlie. These posts are now scrapped, but replies to them are still there on Erica Kirk's old now locked Twitter profile. How many lies are there? So Cabot Phillips. What kind of a name is a Cabot? It's like a cabbage bundle of sticks. Gorgeous couple. Beautiful photo. Okay, interesting. Why were they deleted? So this guy Cabot, it looks like it's Paul Rudd. The guy who was Ant-Man and stuff, and in the Ghostbusters new movie. It looks a bit like him, just an uglier version. Is his name Paul Rudd? I don't know about modern actors so much. How to lead like Charlie? So Erica Kirk's ex-boyfriend is now filling Charlie's shoes, because that's not weird at all. Yeah, it's like, I'm not saying this is the case, but like when I saw this, I already thought of like some movie script that a woman marries another guy for money or clout or whatever, but still actually keeps dating her ex-boyfriend in secret, who isn't really an ex, and then something happens to the husband, and something unfortunate, and he dies, and then they can be together and inherit all his assets and stuff. Not saying anything like that has happened here, but it's just as a theoretical scenario that popped into my mind. And Candice Owen says Egyptian planes that were tracking members of Turning Point USA, including Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, were regularly flying in and out of Israel. She says the planes were turning off their transponder each time they did so. Owen says this is the sole reason the Egyptian planes have caused mass panic among pro-Israel supporters. These are the usual suspects who act when there's a threat to Israel. I guess that makes sense, but if they turned off the transponder, how does she know they went to Israel? Like maybe it's explained somewhere, but I don't know how this plane tracking works in detail. But I guess that's a question, and I haven't looked into her claims about these Egyptian planes in great detail either. Like I had to pick my battles. Erica, I didn't date anyone for 5 years before I met Charlie Francois, who was on a stage date in Bravo in 2018. So is this another guy, not the Cabot guy? He was also presumably dating current Daily Wire producer Cabot Phillips in 2017. This lady is an actress and a provable liar. Yeah. So when did they meet? I think it's like 2019 or 2020 or something. So yeah, then if she did say this, it sounds like a lie. And some people said like, okay, went on a date. Maybe she went on one date with this guy. I guess you could excuse it that yeah, okay, goes on a couple random dates, but doesn't mean that she's actually dating. Sure, but it seems like at least with Cabot Phillips, they did actually date. They were a couple and stuff. The Army veteran Mitch discloses that he saw Erica Kirk, Brian Harpole, and Nevada Congressman Mark Amodei meet at Fort Huachuca, Arizona on September 8th and to 9th, the day before Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't know who's Brian Harpole. Maybe I should know. Um, So he says he recognizes them with a 95.99% certainty. This is insane. So I did watch this video earlier, but like I'm not gonna play it. It's 2 minutes, but don't know whether he's telling the truth or whether he's crazy or if whether he's lying or not. But I guess maybe I wonder if they're gonna try to figure out where these people were on those days. Then whether his claim is accurate or not. Candace Owens leaks that Benjamin Netanyahu personally offered millions to Turning Point USA to buy influence over American youth. This proves that the Israeli government is actively trying to purchase and control conservative organizations in America. Uh, yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. Like, I don't know what's her actual evidence. Like, I believe that Israel is actively buying and controlling conservative organizations in America. That's pretty obvious. But like, where's her smoking gun? Don't know really about that. Slow this. So weird girl. Go home to your kids. So yeah, she's like a DJ throwing. So this is Erica Kirk, right? She's throwing hats to people, and she looks so happy, like, oh, everybody's looking at me. It's like the argument, like a couple of weeks ago, some people said like just let people grieve in their own manner, but like no, she's not grieving. Like sorry, like yeah, sure, people do grieve in their own manner, but she's not grieving. That this is just too blatant. Okay, this guy says that public flight data shows Candace Owens' claim of Egyptian aircraft shadowing Erica Kirk for years is false. So yeah, I saw somewhere else that this guy who claimed to have looked into these claims of the Egyptian claims planes that said that it's like 60% of her calculations were incorrect, that they didn't overlap with Erica Kirk and the planes. Now I don't know whether who here is right or not, but just to I report the news sometimes. Sometimes I do speculate on stuff, but about that I don't know. Oh yeah, this is quite sick and weird. As if they couldn't get any more demonic, TPUSA recreated the Charlie Kirk assassination booth at Amfest, where visitors can take photo ops in the murder scene replica. There's something very sick, morbid, and dark going on at that organization. Evil people, bro. Yeah, it's like, why? Is that respectful? Because I'd expect that to be something that leftists who hated Charlie Kirk would do, because they made some like scenarios for video games and stuff with Charlie Kirk's assassination. So that doesn't sound like something that people that actually liked him and supported him would do. Uh, Shocking. Erica Kirk's devout Catholic widow act collapses. Half her family is Jewish, and her cousin just exposed the wild party girl lies. Erica Kirk's pure conservative Catholic widow persona is falling apart. Well, it's falling apart simply by her own actions. Um, and the real family secrets are insane. She claims no real dating, partying, drinking for years before Charlie. Shades wild lifestyles and presents as fully Catholic traditionalist. But look closer. Her aunt Carla Francois, her dad's sister, married a casino tycoon Jack D. Solomon. In Vegas 2002 marriage certificate. 30 plus year age gap. Meet Carla Francois Solomon, lives in Salt Lake City, Utah, studied University of Arizona, profile still up showing her with Jack. Jack built the famous Colorado Bell Casino in Laughlin, restored Jerusalem's Zion Gate, co-founded Israel Armored Corps Museum at Lateran, trustee for Hebrew University, major donor to Jerusalem Foundation, deep pro-Israel power player with Utah roots. That marriage plugs Erica's family directly into prominent Jewish networks, Rothschild Solomon names everywhere in records. Then there's the Nicole Rothstein, Erica's actual cousin through Carla, but always called best friend, twin soul, sister, roommate. Nicole's old posts them at Madonna concerts, Rockefeller Christmas tree, Rockefeller, 2 a.m. New York City nights with drinks flowing. Nicole dropped partying videos from their roommate days. Cabot Phillips, TPUSA in the side of spamming. I can't stop watching this. Nicole, that's our girl. Heart, tagging Erica. Yet Erica goes on national TV. I didn't drink, barely dated, criticized roommates for heavy partying, multiple men. She lived with the full Miss Arizona model, New York City life, nightlife before Charlie. Fine if true, but why lie about it while preaching trad values and running TP USA? Because that's how most trad women you see online are. Because they love the attention. It sounds like Sex in the City. Damn, I hated that show. Erica scrubbed old posts, completely hides the Jewish family side, and downplays Nicole as just a pal. Charlie built everything on authenticity. His widow now leads it. Why hide the cousin? The heritage parting past the facade is cracking hard. I've got all the receipts, Carla's Facebook profile, marriage search, IG parting proof, donor pages, family ties, capital comments, more. Who shocked? Drop your thoughts. Blah blah. Okay. So Project Constitution. Never heard of it before. And yeah, this is like a wrestling. She's like a wrestling manager or something, like Paul Heyman or Eric Bischoff or something. Can she take a day off though? Oh yeah, this it's just like WWE. Do 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 do. Can you dig it, sucker? 5-time WCW champion. I don't know why like Booker T is like I I'm not like the biggest fan of Booker T, but somehow he's ingrained in my psyche. So she take a day off? Who's looking after this woman's children? Well, I think she has money. She can hire all the nannies she wants. They just lost their father, and the mother is on near constant WWE SmackDown tour in America. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, sorry, okay, I do feel bad for the kids, but like, this is so absurd. I can't help but laugh. Uh, I was certain this pizza Instagram post on Erica Kirk's alleged ex Cabot Phillips was fake. It's not still, and it's still up. Pizza, yeah. Pizza, and there's an arrow pointing to his mouth. So it means he likes pizza in his mouth. And if you know what pizza means, like Pizzagate and stuff, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I guess it's just how like obvious this is. Should like this. I missed this, like I didn't read it so well. It's like, oh yeah, pizza. So I wonder if Erica Francois and this guy went to pizza parties together. Oh, okay. I still have another browser with some tabs here, but I didn't want to put too many on this one. So let me get this straight. Veteran police officers couldn't find the murder weapon. Bomb dogs couldn't find the murder weapon, but the feds who show up after the fact miraculously locate the murder weapon in the same location the officers and dogs had already scoped. I'm so over this fed slop. So of course, talking about Charlie Kirk's murder weapon. Emails are pouring in right now from K9 officers and military men telling me that if the bomb dogs did not find a weapon, it's because it was not there and had not been fired. The bomb dogs missing the gun was an unexpected tipping point for a lot of people. Hmm. But listen to Jack Posobiec, who says that like the leftist killed Charlie Kirk, blah blah. Okay, wow, Candace Owens revealed that Andrew Colwett was the one who told her Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk a huge amount of money to take TPUSA to the next level, but Charlie refused. I think Andrew Colwett is was Charlie Kirk's best friend or something. Erica Kirk says she wasn't even aware of this. Once again, Candice was not lying. Okay. So yeah, if she is bullshitting, like, please do tell me. What's this? Hello, 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 computer. Okay, now finally something. It was stuck for a while. I don't know. I don't know what happens to the stream when that happens. Like, do you hear me or is everything blank? So Ian Carroll show is low information, detestable guy. I agree. Well, I haven't really watched his show. I've just seen his tweets. I do agree with some of the things he say, but I don't think he's genuine at all. God damn it. Fed accusations are obviously overused, but this effect is indistinguishable. His latest theory is that Kirk was possibly electrocuted to death. The main evidence was that his hand was discolored red, resembling a burn. Not only does this ignore the exploded deck, you moron, but discoloration of a dead body as he described it as normal. See attached. Refraining from posting gruesome example photos, but please search these at your own discretion. So like, yeah, it's not really his job as a media personality, truth seeker to look to try to figure out the exact physical methodology. I think people like him and me is more like look into who benefits, what are the effects, how do people react, because like if you're not actually studying the crime scene or like looking like you can't really figure out actual method of his unless you're some expert like a ballistics expert or electrocution expert. That's different, but I doubt this guy is. He said he used to be a leftist a few years ago and now he's totally red pilled and promoted by all the old media crap. But this I was already supposed to have this joke in my previous golden news stream because I think this is so offensive and brilliant. The more I see Erica Kirk, the more I think that Charlie Kirk actually dodged a bullet. Yeah, I think that's very inappropriate and very brilliant. This guy, I hope he's continues on that business of comedy. But okay, let's move on from Charlie Kirk. uh, and Erica Kirk and all that stuff. Where do we go next? Taiwan. There was a stabbing in Taiwan, so let's have a brief look of that. So, breaking knife attack in Taipei, Taiwan. Three people killed and five injured. I think it's probably more now. Near Taipei main station in and Zhongshan station, suspect used smoke grenades and knife. Died after falling during police chase. So yeah, he had smoke bombs and stuff, and he was stabbing people. It's like if he was just a random psycho with mental problems, like why would he like it's very premeditated if he had smoke bombs. Like I don't know, like maybe he was like aiming for a particular person but killed random people because they got in the way or sort of to distract from his real victim, or I don't know. It's very weird. Breaking death toll rises to three in Taipei Metro Rampage. Suspect Chang Wen, 27, pronounced dead at this time. Hero victim 57 who tried to stop the attacker at main station also killed. Total casualties three. I think it's more because this is like 3 days ago, and I'm too lazy to check it. Yeah, like if there's anything more about it. And then there's tell this is to China because just to remind you about the the Finnish beauty queen stretching her eyes, to make them look slanted, and some Finnish politicians doing it to support her freedom of expression, and so many like Chinese accounts complaining about that, and also about does Finland have human rights? Well, this China, this is how Chinese treat dogs. So Chinese woman is abusing Shiba Inu solely because she claims it is a Japanese dog. See, this is kind of people mainland China racist. Like hashtag not all, but hashtag not so uncommon either. And man on a Chinese airplane claims he's trapped in a time loop. He insists it is his sixth iteration of the event, saying the plane crashed, everyone died, and he ended up back in the same moment. I think this is based, whatever the truth. Maybe he's crazy, maybe it's truth, maybe he's just, really bored science fiction nerd. I don't know. But this is, I like to see more. What are they doing? What happened? Someone opens second door, the security door. They are hollow Earth inhabitants. This is time on the sixth loop. Please open the door. I don't know. This is like what the fuck is going on. I don't know. Um, yeah. All right. Well, what was this? I don't think this is anymore China or anything that. Okay. Now I remember. All right. So that's enough from Chinese stuff. If I can find the right, yeah, this one. All right. So Luigi statements revoked. So to the Luigi Mangione case, where he allegedly shot the CEO of the insurance company. So breaking, the DA has withdrawn all statements made by Luigi Mangione during interrogation. He was not made aware he was being recorded, which violates Pennsylvania's two-party consent law. I don't know, like this almost makes me think like maybe he is guilty and they're trying to make him walk for whatever reason, or maybe they're just so incompetent they were trying to frame him because I'm not convinced he's the killer because he's innocent until proven guilty. And last week it was like the gun seemed to be have been planted by the cops or something. So I don't think he's the killer. All right, then let's go to Israel delenda est. So Israel has to be redacted. Let's redact Israel from this plane of existence, just a political entity, of course, and because otherwise we will never have any sanity in the world and peace or anything. So Benjamin Netanyahu now says that had it not been for the Jews, USA would not exist. We brought you into this world and we can take you out. So was George Washington Jewish? Is that what he's saying or what? He was a Freemason. Ooh, an AI mod is doing God's work in my Kick chat and uh, getting rid of spammers or bots. And Trump, I signed the Golan Heights, the rights to the Golan Heights over to Israel. Nobody thought that was possible to get. Then I found out the value of it, trillions of dollars. I said, yeah, maybe I should have asked him for something. So he gave that for free when, it wasn't his to give, really. We used to call that theft, but I guess it's different when they do it. J.D. Vance is being forced to host a Hanukkah party at his home as a Christian man. He's participating in a humiliation ritual. Well, yeah, that's humiliating. Just looking at that. Yeah. Breaking Trump to plan a war with Iran. Israeli officials are preparing to brief Trump about options for illegally attacking Iran again. Trump and Netanyahu to meet later this month in Florida at Mar-a-Lago, where Netanyahu briefed Trump, peace president, everyone. So I don't know what's the source for this. Is he making it up or anything? But Maybe there's some truth to that, not sure. And it's not just Trump. Watch Macron get shaken like a rag doll by the president of the French APAC. The entire West is occupied. So yeah, it's like I control him. He's my golem. Ho ho ho. Yeah, it's like you're hurting me. It's like I know. Yeah, I almost feel bad for him. Like maybe he didn't chose the role that he's been put up to because he used to be a Rothschild banker and stuff. Guess he was groomed into this. Unbelievable. I simply do not believe it. Next, you're gonna tell me people knew back in 2016 he was just going to be a pressure relief valve serving Jewish interests. Or was this? Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago, according to White House official. So this is from 2019, so that would have been 2017. Okay. President Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago and joined the Chabad Lubavitch synagogue in New York City. Hundreds of thousands of donations tie Kushner's and Trump to Chabad movement. Chabad Lubavitch synagogue erupts into chaos after members refuse to allow secret tunnel to be sealed. Ghislaine Maxwell identifies as Jewish in prison, tapping resources for incarcerated Jews. So yeah, and religious services are being provided through reaching out, one of several organizations operated by people affiliated with the Chabad Lubavitch movement to serve those who are incarcerated. So yeah, if this is true, I guess he will be pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell eventually. He's certainly acting like that's true. A Chinese person didn't give Trump $250 million. A Russian didn't give him the money. Iranian didn't give him the money, and Israeli did.
And we have another person that's a very special person. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She is a beautiful woman, actually, in my opinion. Another one. That's two reasons now. And third, by the way, Mark, we have three reasons, Mark, because your wife is incredible always from day one. But I think it's okay if we ask Miriam Adelson. Do you want to come up, Miriam? Come up here, Miriam.
Miriam Adelson.
Miriam gave my campaign indirectly 250 million. She was number one.
So she owns him among a few other people like Netanyahu. In 24 hours, Trump has banned Palestinians, lamented the Israeli and Jewish lobby losing control of Congress, and vowed to stop this. Admitted he took $250 million in bribes from Miriam Adelson, confirmed Mark Levin that he is a Jewish president. And if you have a problem with any of that, stop anti-Semites, and the new highest profile anti-Semitism division of the State Department will ruin your life. Yeah, interesting. Ah, so this is Marco Rubio's new profile pic. I don't know if this has anything to do with Israel, but reminds me of my mom turned into a lampshade. He turned my mom into a lampshade. What's this? Oh yeah, there's this. The representative of the Jewish community in Romania destroys image of Romanian national heroes in front of the entire parliament. No, shouldn't that usually? I don't know who these Romanian heroes are. Like, I don't know a great deal about details of Romanian history. Okay, there's some pictures. I know Mircea Eliade. I didn't know he was Romanian, but like he's an author or something. Maybe he did something else too. I haven't read any of his books, but I should probably. Anyways, though, yeah, isn't that like grounds for shooting? Like, if he does it in the parliament, that's very offensive. All right, but that's enough from Israel. So let's redact Israel from this plane of existence, please. And now we can go to gaming and entertainment and stuff. That's the right browser. And let's see. Oops, still in the wrong. Okay. Lords of Fallen CEO made a poll about how important sexy characters are. So, I didn't see this poll. I couldn't vote in it. Very important, important to some degree, not important at all. I would say important to some degree because I do think there are many other factors more important in games, like playability and good story and atmosphere and that stuff. But like to some stories and atmosphere, sexy characters are important. Not to all games. Like I don't mind that Civilization doesn't have sexy characters. Although, like now that I think about it, sexy character mode for Civilization might be kind of cool. Uh, and So, Lords of the Fallen 2 coming in 2026 as Epic exclusive. So yeah, because they're supposed to be the based gaming company, but then their game is gonna be Epic exclusive. Try to appeal to gamers and garner good PR. Announced release exclusively on the Epic Games Store despite the immense displeasure many gamers have in the storefront and the fact that PC gamers chose PC to avoid exclusivity nonsense. Talk about one step forward, one step back. Yeah, I'm not saying that I want necessarily want their game to fail or anything, or I'm not gonna tell anybody that you should boycott it, but I won't be going on Epic Store, like just out of principle, just out of pig-headedness, if nothing else. Like I'm not gonna go, or also like sunk cost fallacy, because they do give you a lot of free games. But because I didn't start collecting their free games like 5 years ago or whenever they started, I've lost so many free games. So now it feels like dumb to go there and start getting their free games or not non-free games. That's simply one reason. Also, I don't want their like, spyware and stuff. Anyway, but there's the gamer. Lords of the Fallen 2 is already cementing itself as a game for all the wrong people. So Marek Tymiński, this is like the CEO of the company making it. This year we talked direct to you to shape Lords of the Fallen 2, but according to the gamer, you're the wrong type gamer. The article ignores almost everything we've shown in the last two trailers. Epic bosses, lightning fast, challenging combat, seamless day one co-op, endless build variety, deep tactical options, rich dark fantasy world, dual action, blah 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 blah. Stunning high fidelity visuals, gory, dismemberment executions, all player event driven from 6 million players and blah blah blah, 2 million sales. Male, female body types, attractive, immersive armor, sexy is called dark fantasy. Yeah, but he's ignoring that one point that epic exclusivity. That's something that gamers more and more care more about lightning fast, challenging combat. It's like phrases like this or epic bosses, that these phrases mean nothing at all because it's very subjective. You can say whatever is as long as it's a boss, you can call it an epic boss, and people can debate whether it actually is. And then there's Larian, Sven Winke of Larian, made Baldur's Gate 3 and the Divinity series. So, and they used AI for some, I think, concept art for his game or the game, and they're not happy about it, or like some gamers are not happy about it. Holy fuck, guys, we're not pushing hard for or replacing concept artists with AI. We have a team of 72 artists, of which 23 are concept artists, and we are hiring more. The art they create is original, and I'm very proud of what they do. I was asked explicitly about concept art and our use of generative AI. I answered that we use it to explore things. I didn't say we use it to develop concept art, the artists to do that. They are indeed world class artists. We use AI tools to explore references, just like we use Google and art books. At the very early ideation stages, we use it as a rough outline for composition, which we replace with original concept art. There is no comparison. I talked about how we use ML here, and if you would like to know more, we've hired creatives for their talent, not for their ability. to do what a machine suggests, but they can experiment with these tools to make their lives easier. So, okay, this actually sounds reasonable to me if he's telling the truth. But of course, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Like maybe it's going to be released in a month or two that are, yeah, said that maybe they use AI for more stuff, and I'm not against, like, if developers can use AI to make game development a bit easier, but like the end product doesn't really suffer, or I'm not really against that. But like in theory at least, but in practice, I think a lot of there's going to be lots of AI shovelware that people just try to make a quick buck by telling the AI to make me a game and put it on Steam or whatever. But of course, I guess Larian will have degree of quality at least. uh, Also, Expedition 33 team admits to using generative AI in the game and defends it as just another tool. We use some AI, but not much. The game holds the historical record in Game of the Year. AI to help develop video games is here to stay. So yeah, because I, I don't think that because my fantasy sort of when it comes to AI generative art or movies, games or whatever, that perhaps there's some really talented guy like who has a brilliant story idea, but he cannot pitch it to a studio, so he could use like a AI to make a whole hour and 30-minute movie that looks relatively genuine. Like I do see that AI generated art could be actually pretty cool if that happens. Like somebody has a really good story idea and he can make a movie by himself just by using AI. That would be cool. But of course, AI will be abused in many different ways. So like if if we just let's limit it to the gaming and movies and art, like of course they're gonna do also make all sorts of slop and I don't know fire actual artists. But of course the some of the anti AI crowd are just obnoxious and bit insane. Like me, I use AI art for thumbnails and stuff like that, and I basically do it for fun. It's not that it really adds much, except maybe there's other people who like AI slop, because I think some of the AI slop I use is looks nice. Some of it is just like, yeah, whatever, placeholder image basically, because that's what I do for fun. But there's a big difference between somebody like me who doesn't get paid anything for this using art and like a big studio replacing artists with AI and stuff. There's a big difference between those two things. But some of these AI haters don't really realize it. Anyways, Indie Game Awards disqualifies Claire Obscure Expedition 33 due to Gen AI usage. The Indie Game Awards have a hard stance on the use of generative AI throughout the nomination process and during the ceremony itself. So yeah, they rejected Expedition 33 because of that. But like, I think I saw somewhere else that it was clearly stated in the rules that they don't accept any AI generated stuff. So it's like, why did Expedition 33 even like why did they submit their games to the competition if did they read it properly? Mozilla names new CEO Firefox to evolve into a modern AI browser. That sounds horrible. Firefox will grow from a browser into a broader ecosystem of trusted software. Trusted software sounds very like corporate and Orwellian. Like, yeah, we have these trusted tools that spy on you, but if we cannot spy on you, it's not trusted. Firefox will remain our anchor. It will evolve into a modern AI browser and support a portfolio of new and trusted software additions. Yeah, this. I'm glad I stopped using Firefox years ago. It was, after Biden stole the presidency from Trump, and like the Firefox, they were sort of congratulating Biden. Of course, now it's in hindsight doesn't really matter because there's not a big difference between Trump and Biden anymore. But back then, at least, there was some hope that Trump might have been different on his second term. Sony is developing AI. See, there's a theme: AI, developing AI that censors games in real time. Sony is developing a patent-pending AI system capable of real-time censorship of video game content. It automatically detects and modifies mature or sensitive material such as violence, gore, sexual content, and profanity. The technology uses AI to analyze on-screen visuals and audio in real time, dynamically intervening on muting dialogue, blurring or masking elements, replacing assets with like blood effects or character models to reduce intensity. Like, why would you need to censor the blood effects? Like, if you somebody plays the game, or it's like if you want to play Mortal Kombat or whatever, Bloody Murder Combatant 5, like normally it has lots of blood, but then you can say like, oh, I'm 5 years old and I want to play this game, and then it censors all the blood effects. I don't get it. And of course it's gonna be spying on you while it does this censoring. And I don't know who actually wants this censorship except people that don't actually play games. Like, what's the point here? Microsoft confirms Windows security updates breaks VPN connections. Yay. So where is SteamOS? We need you. Microsoft says it's too hard to move the taskbar and will never add the ability to. Yeah, so in earlier Windows you could add it up there. I don't know why would you want to do that, but I totally am behind the idea that you can, like, if you wanted to put it in the center like this or this, I think you should have the option to do it, or I don't know, make it into a spiral or something, or like a C shape, or I don't know. I think there should be the options, but like supposedly there is some third party program you can get it to do it easily if you want, but I like my taskbar down there in the bottom where it's always been. Such incompetence. Monotype imagine imaging, the company which raised fonts licenses for Japanese games from $380 per year, they raise it to $20,000 per year, is in financial trouble via Automaton West. They burned millions but got nothing. Japanese game fund provider aggressively price hike could be a result of parent company's alleged AI failure and financial struggle. It's already insane that it costs almost $400 just to use some freaking fonts. Like, sure, okay, if somebody makes fonts, maybe they should make some money out of it, but this just sounds fucking retarded. But yeah, like, people who are like, graphic designers, they do need different kinds of fonts, but it's like, I just think this shit should be open source. Like, it's insane, and I'm happy they are going bankrupt or whatever. And this one, because I'm not logged in on this browser, so I had to take a screen cap because it was, I couldn't verify I'm 18 years old. Uh, so Ion 2 players' sexualized depictions of real life celebrities could constitute criminal and civil offenses, attorney says via Automaton West. So I don't know what is Aeon 2, so is it some porn game? Like, so okay, let's see. I draw a picture of J Lo and I don't know who's that chick from Harry Potter, whatever. Well, I draw pictures of them doing the naughty together. Is that violating some rights. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you want to use somebody's, like, it's different story if you sell that stuff, but like what people do in the privacy of their homes, I don't think they should, anybody else should have any right over it. Like, to sue you or anything. That just sounds so fucking Orwellian. I don't understand. Pornhub premium user search and watch history exposed from 2016 to 2023. So data was obtained via third-party analytics provider Mixpanel. So it's only premium users, not like, non-account users. So yeah, I think that's sort of poetic justice. If you have a Pornhub premium account, I guess maybe you deserve it. Silent Hill F. Ryder says he's forever scared of women, and that's why the game takes them seriously. Working on themes based around women is to me the greatest act of respect. This just sounds like it's an insane person who made a very mediocre game. I don't know what else to say about it. Steam really reveals that players spent only 14% of their time on games released in 20 yeah, their time on games released in 2025. So only 14% of the time was played in a new being, played new games released this year. Preferring all the titles, of course. Yeah, for me it was 2%. I think it was I think it was 2%, and I played probably two games released this year. It was Cyclopean, which I recommend. Is a decent dungeon crawl RPG, and I think the other one was the freaking bear horror game, visual novel. I don't even remember the name. Grizzly Man, Grizzly Man. The game wasn't great, but the art was pretty nice. Pixel art, horror stuff. I think that was also released this year. Code Violet new gameplay trailer. Code Violet will not be on PC because devs do not want vulgar mods and showing woman's ass. At least it looks like a lookable ass. So hold to our voice actresses with high regard as well as our artistic vision. Who cares about their voice actresses? I don't fucking hold them in high regard. So because they don't want mods, they're not gonna bring it on PC. Well, I hope this game fails, but I think console goons love that sort of stuff. Like, it's not on PC. I, the game otherwise doesn't look so interesting, anyways. But it's yeah, I hope it fails. And not releasing a game because of vulgar mods, blocking people who ask for a PC release. I'm sure this won't backfire. I can't see the who is responding to because I'm not logged in. But yeah, there was somebody who was blocked by the devs because he wanted a PC release. Apparently, they sound insane. A Blue Archive announces collaboration with a bunch of streamers that players don't like and would clearly not like the game. People disagree with this and complain. The devs listen and cancel the collab within 24 hours. Gatekeeping works. So yeah, sounds based. Haven't played Blue Archive. It's gacha slop. I've seen some of the characters. They do look aesthetically pleasing, but I still want more from games than I don't want this. I assume that all this gacha slop is gonna be spyware. Like maybe some of the gameplay would actually be good, but so far I've never seen anybody actually praise the gameplay, so I haven't touched them. People play them for one-handed reasons usually. So Archcast says, don't read anything in this choice by GW or anything. It was completely accidental that the space Viking from Frozen Snowball in space would have the complexion as a sub-Saharan Africa. No agenda here, absolutely nothing whatsoever. So space wolves, yeah, so they are supposed to be Vikings in space. And he made a video about it saying that there is some chapter that is actually full of black people, but of course they have to change the Viking into a black man because everybody knows the Vikings were black, the blackest people on earth. Good news, Japanese content platform DLSite gets its own official credit card amidst Visa and MasterCard suspension. So yeah, they've been they were one of the first ones to be, bullied by Visa and Mastercard, but now they have their own credit card. I wonder if that credit card is Japan only, or can other people get it too? It's like, yeah, I sort of want to support them. I hope that, Visa and Mastercard gets annihilated somehow. Freerun Beyond the Journey's End Season 2 will only have 10 episodes. Season 1 had 28 episodes. Like, I wonder why. Like, I think it's been like 2 years at least since the last season. Like, can't they even get 12 episodes or something? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know great deal about the anime um, process of making episodes and stuff. But like, why does it take so long? Like, has something changed? Like, don't they have the money to make more episodes, or what? Or they don't have enough staff, or there's some, I don't know, bureaucratic restrictions, or what exactly? Or there's not enough manga for it. I just hope that these 10 episodes are good, and actually have animations unlike One Punch Man, and actually, tell the story. Because yeah, I do think Free Ren is one of the best anime out there. Even though it is new and popular, but it is actually good. Nintendo is censoring Brave X Junction. So original Bikini, North America, EU. She has this. Like, I wouldn't mind if there was an alternative between the bikini and this, miniskirt stuff, because this, but like putting them together just doesn't look good. Yeah, yeah, the original does look better, and like I oppose censorship just out of principle on top of it as well. Horrifying. And Nintendo has censored the art cover of Dispatch. So censored and uncensored. So yeah, here we can see her ass. Here she has, her ass is covered, and also boobs covered, boobs not covered. Oh, here as well you can see boobs, no boobs. Come on, man. Hey, how about this guy? This guy, why aren't they censored? It's not equal representation. At least this woman's cleavage is the same in both. Like, come on, man. It's fucking disgusting. Uh, New information has surfaced regarding Persona 6. The game is not in development hell, but has undergone big changes to match the trending taste of players. The game has been moved to Unreal Engine 5. Boo. Will be set outside of Japan. Introduces new parry mechanics. See, this is why I haven't played Claire Obscure Expedition 33, but this fucking parry mechanic. No. Like, I want my turn-based games to be turn-based. That, if you leave it there for 24 hours during a battle, that nothing will happen during that battle, except like unless the computer or console has some safety feature that switches it off after not touching it. But I don't want, if it's a turn-based game, I don't want any freaking quick time events or bullshit like that. Just sounds horrible, horrifying. It sounds like it's the new World of Warcraft, because like 20 years ago, everybody who was making a MMO, they were copying World of Warcraft, and Pikachu face, surprised Pikachu face when they failed, because they were just trying to do what World of Warcraft did, and of course they're just gonna be an inferior copy. Like, if you wanna succeed, you have to do something different, something new and exciting. But of course, nobody really did that. A veteran manga writer behind Fist of the North Star is still trying to publish new stories at 78, but no publisher wants to use them. He's been writing about golf and horse racing, as well as a story about porn actress and a story about a swindler. It sort of sounds endearing. I don't know. I sound like it sounds like 78-year-old guy writing about a porn actress. So sort of exciting, actually. And maybe a golf anime might be cool if it's done well. I don't like golf, but occasionally I do like sports anime, even though I don't care much about sports in real life. Australian singer Aya May lost her recording deal after releasing the song Carmageddon, singing about pandemic and corrupt politicians, make her go viral. Okay, I can't see the lyrics. I'm not gonna play the music because it's probably copyrighted or something. But yeah, she's actually, I don't know, has lyrics that are topical, I guess, and that's not allowed. New Evangelion short anime film announced, release date February 2026, so I guess it's been in production. Planning, script, and supervision by Hideaki Anno, so I think that's the guy who invented the whole thing. Directed by Naoki Asano. So because the Gainax went bankrupt and Anno got the rights back, so I guess they've been like making it undercover. I guess he knew he was getting the rights back, or maybe he actually got the rights back before Gainax went bankrupt. I'm not quite sure how it works. But yeah, let's see. Like, I don't know about these new characters. Like, I've just seen the original Evangelion from the 90s because there was like a remake or something with this new girl. I have no idea how it's different except for this new girl, so I haven't bothered, so I don't know. But Asuka is best girl. And 100% orange juice is free to keep on Steam, so I think it's until the 22nd, so I guess still have a little bit of time. I got it, of course, already because there's Steam winter sales, Christmas sales. It should be Christmas sale. Oh yeah, and this is last one. Rare white goose appeared in the forest. Real animal, real mutation. Only a few hundred exist. So this is not supposed to be AI. Like, if I want to believe this is genuine, so this is a sign of something, and makes me think of Crusader Kings and the White Stag and stuff. It's like basically some forest spirit manifesting itself. It's cool. Well, it is winter, but I don't know where. Is it because it's RT? Does it mean it's in Russia? Well, anyways, that's the last news story of the week, and well, let's see if it's the last news story of the year because, like I said, I'm going on a hiatus for a while. Like I'll try to do some sort of stuff, but I probably won't be streaming much, if any. But at least I can, try to upload some static. Like, what's the term for, like, okay, you know, in a opposition or the opposite of live streaming? Is it like, static uploading videos, or something, scripted video uploading or something? I might be doing some of that, but uh, I would like to finish Shadowrun Dragonfall at some point as well. So let's see. If nothing else, I can just play it and make it as let's plays without streaming it. If nothing else, and of course, Golden News. I do want to keep up with Golden News and try to at least upload once per week with Golden News. But next week, I'm pretty sure I won't have time for Golden News. But let's see the week after that. But anyways, I am Adventure Argonauts, and whatever I was about to say was redacted because it contained something bad. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.